Opinions and ideas expressed in the following Moraine Valley Broadcast Channel recording are those of its creators and do not represent the views of Moraine Valley Community College.
Hello, greetings, fellow listeners. Welcome to Issue Now. My name is Stephen Allgood. I'll be your host today. And with me, I have Desiree Hayworth and Abida Dante, and we're going to be talking about public discourse. Well, discourse as a whole. Like, no one can define discourse in one specific way. Like, you can think of it from an academic sense, public sense, like what everyone thinks about, or a political sense on how politicians or certain people think about a specific idea when it affects them directly. The idea of academic discourse is that it's research that produces results on an idea. But Coca-Cola, they start these front groups that actually, they're non-profit groups that actually, they do research, but they already have the end result that they want. Well, they're trying to do research that leads to an end result that makes themselves look better. Example of this is the Global Energy Balance Network, led by Dr. Blair, which their primary focus is to make the food companies look better. Like this tarnishes the idea of academic.
I do agree with researching information for an end result, but it's also how they go about things to benefit from the result and retaining credibility. Like, how to describe it? It depends on what your interests are, because like with the Coca-Cola company,
like they're trying to increase profits, so
yeah,
like they're gonna create a conflict.
A fake.
Well, they're trying to not fake, but they're trying to create a conflict of interest with. No, not a conflict of interest. They're creating
little
They're just taking
research group, funding research groups that are like non-profit.
Yeah. Well, the Global Energy Network is a non-profit organization.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, Abida?
Okay. According to my research, academic discourse relationship with food company are not about promoting their products, but they are about creating nutrition messages that people can understand and act to improve their health and that of their families.
Wait, that's the proper use. I'm asking about what does the food companies like. Well, actually, this is the food industry. They also affect political discourse, which like they're trying to keep their business afloat. So of course they're not gonna allow any government action to go against them without a fight. I mean, in 2004, the World Health Organization wanted to regulate harder free sugars, which would mean like any sugar found that was not necessary in sodas, candies, or even condiments like ketchup or or syrups that people wouldn't associate as free sugars or sugars that are not needed. So they attacked them with a 28-page response highlighting personal responsibility, exercise over diet, and that there are no such thing as bad food. That like you eat food to gain energy, and energy is an output.
Or with like people are thinking that food companies are kind of using science to hijack the.
Do you have another example of political discourse that the food companies used before, Abida?
The food politic author Mario Nestle noticed that if it comes from to study about the health issue of sugary drinks, the science depends on who pay for it. According to the recent analysis, the soda taxes must be actually higher than before, so they can prevent people from obesity.
Wait, so they're taxing the sodas?
Yeah.
Oh wait, you talk about the
higher than before.
Are you talking about the soda tax in Illinois that happened a couple months ago?
Yes.
Yeah, I was actually pretty annoyed about that.
It heavily affected my household too, but mainly I'm the only one that drinks a soda.
Yeah, same. Like an extra 10 cents on soda. It was
It's bad if you have a caffeine addiction.
Well, it's more bad for you since you don't drink coffee. But it affected me because I'm a Coca-Cola addict. So I'm actually trying to discredit a company that I actually support. Kind of shows my conflict of interest.
It does. Yeah. It really does.
But moving on, there's a stigma, which is like a negative association to an idea, and there's a stigma to obesity that has kind of become. It's actually not a very new idea. People have always try to fat shame the public.
Yeah, and they would always be like, "You need to exercise more," thinking that exercising will solve everything when it clearly does not.
Yeah.
It's mainly what you eat, and how much.
Not just.
Not exactly, but you get my drift. It's cutting down on things.
Yeah.
That will cause
personal responsibility.
I wouldn't say it's personal responsibility, but it's just
there's only so much you can do, because there was actually a study from ignoring history, and there was an argument to whether if a man is a man was smoking, and on the inside a man was smoking and there was an infant in the room, is it the infant's personal responsibility to actually leave the room when the man is smoking if the child does not want to be there?
How can a child leave, an infant leave the room? If they're on the floor, they can crawl, but would they know the difference? I don't really think.
Well, that was the argument. Why selfish way of thinking?
Very negative in a way.
What's your opinion, Abita? I'm sorry, I did not hear that well.
Okay, I was saying the public health community need to engage with.
They need a what?
Need to engage.
Engage what?
Engage with the food company, so they can build a strong argument.
Well, they need
that give a promise health for people.
Well, the food company's been, of course, we're having this discussion, so we know that the food company's been under siege for a while now.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what's the next step. And also going back to the stigma. It's a bit of a You ever heard of NFL Play 60?
A little bit.
Well, it's actually it's a program that actually that the NFL, they actually try and get kids to play 60 minutes a day, and so what they do you understand the underlying message here? They want kids to actually they're trying to promote exercise over diet, to actually try and better the cause. The food company's cause. And you want to know who's paying? The NFL is supposed to be a non-profit, but the NFL Foundation is supposed to be a non-profit, but don't you find? You want to know what they advertise during the NFL?
Let me guess, Gatorade and all sorts of snacking junk food.
Yep, Doritos predominantly.
Yeah, and those are not the best foods to eat when you're hungry for a snack. They're not.
Well, they're not healthy, yeah, but funded indirectly by the people that advertise them. Like, well, actually, more towards public discourse, like the idea of like fat shaming people, actually trying to increase personal health. Well,
it's so embedded with us with fat shaming and like exercise more that we don't really bother looking at things that could be causing it. We're just like, and it's not. Influence, the power of influence with advertisement, because you see advertisements everywhere for Coca-Cola, for fast food, everywhere.
Well, yeah, they put so much funding into the advertising this idea, to promote their products, and, try to influence legislation in different governments.
And this is just what I got from a small clip, Stigma. I remember them mentioning about like how the government was something about trying to put more healthier foods into schools, because there's like so many different kind of fast food type of things, like pizza. Pizza, you have hamburgers, whatever thing fast food wise you want, and hot dogs too. And there's just so much of fast food being served to the kids. There's like not really anything of a healthier choice. And that's the problem. There's so many choices. Yeah,
but
it's like when
the idea is that put a bottle of water in one hand and a Coca-Cola. What do you think the little kid's gonna grab?
Exactly, they're gonna get the unhealthier. Even with so many choices too, it's just everyone prefers the fattier stuff or the sweeter, sugarier stuff compared to something that will actually benefit them.
Yeah. Well, I think we're beating around the bush too much here. And I think that concludes Issues Now. I'll be your host, Stephen Allgood, and stay classy, friends.